Here again too, with the English lesson. Oh no, Georgian lessons for English speakers. So jumping over all that greeting thing and pauses to give credit to my work and so on. Just right ahead to the subject we have today. That's the greatest poet ever in Georgian literature. 19th, 20th, beginning of 20th century. Vāža Pshavela, it's his nom de plume, so writing nickname. His actual name is Luka Razikashvili, and he lived in the mountainous parts of Georgia, Pshavi, and actually he lived his life in great need, working for his living every day very hard, and having so he was really in need. But despite all that, today to illustrate that fact is really easy, because today if you go to Chargali, to his museum, you will see the table where he wrote his famous poems and verses, and that is just a simple wooden table without any style or something like that. It's just handmade table, and there are only the ink pot and a pen there, and he had also trouble having paper or ink or pens, and sometimes he had no light and he had to write on a fire light. But the fact that he in this he was a struggler, he was a fighter, so he managed to let the whole God created world's glory shine better than anyone else in Georgian literature, so to say, and that's why he's so beloved throughout the country, and everybody knows his name, and his verses are really grand, beautiful. Now today I have here the small verse by him that's dedicated to Violet, because Violet was his favorite flower, and there is some kind of tragic poetry here, deep sense of philosophy, and which is very difficult to maintain when translating Georgian poems or short stories, because I've seen many translations and all the feeling is gone there, because actually all Georgian literature has this feeling of deep philosophical poetry somehow, and if you don't get it, don't get the full insight of it, and you translate it without acknowledging that, when translated into different languages it becomes just a piece of tragic abracadabra, and you don't get the meaning of it. So I tried very much to maintain that feeling here, and I think I managed it, so it's my translation here, and you can evaluate it. Tell the violet tender, a worm will eat your leaves. As beautiful and gracious and slender, you stand open to life. Don't you think it's a door to heaven standing ajar? Not to come into this world seems the best lot so far. Just don't try to break the earth. Regrets, it's how life ends. There is not always the sun to shine. The earth is eternal prime. So don't leave it, pray. O earth, don't let her come out to the wide world. Keep her deep in your hearts, and let her beauty be forever buried in your heart. So it's the English translation, and here we have the actual book by Vāža Pshavela and the actual Georgian verse. So after the poem to my cat in the previous lesson, it's quite a difficult task, but I think we shouldn't be afraid of difficulty, because life and world is complex, as you know it. You can't cut it down to some simplicity, and you have to accept it as it is and try to understand That's the whole point. So now I'm reading it in Georgian. Ias uთხარით ტურფასა. Ias uთხარით ტურფასა. მოვადა შეკჭამს ჭიაო. მაგრე მოხდენით ლამაზო. თავი რომ აგიღიაო. შენ მგონია სიცოცხლეს 64-ის კარი ღიაო. ნუ მოხვალ, მიწას ეფარე. მოსვლაში არ აყრიაო. ნუ ნახავ მზესა ინანებ. განასულ მუდამ მზეაო. მიწავ შენ გებარებოდეს ეს ჩემი ტურფაიაო. შენ უპატრონე ემშობლე, როგორაც შენი ზნეაო. So we have already translation, so I'm not translating here line by line. I'm just picking out some words which you could use. Ia is a violet. Ias uთხარით is tell the violet. Turpa is a word which is more poetic. It's tenderly beautiful, which we don't use actually in everyday language. Sometimes we use it, but it's more poetic word. Mova. So, da shekjams ჭიაო. Ჭია is a worm. So a worm will come and eat your leaves. I put here leaves because it sounds better and it actually conveys the meaning better. But here in Georgian we don't have any leaves. Mova, he will come. Shekjams will eat. It's a future tense. So, Magre mochtenit lamazo თავი რომ აგიღიაო. თავი რომ აგიღიაო. It's so to say metaphorical phrase. So it means stand up to enjoy life. So you have your head up and fully waiting for the pleasures of life. So to say. So tavi is head. Lamazo, beautiful. It's a dress. Actually, you can say to somebody, Lamazo. So you're so beautiful. Come here, beauty or pretty. შენ მგონია სიცოცხლე. Don't you think? შენ მგონია. Don't you think? სიცოცხლე is life. 64-ის კარი is the door to heaven. 64 is heaven, კარი door. ღია open. ნუ მოხვალ, don't come. მიწას ეფარე, just მიწა is a ground, earth. Ephare is use it as your protection, so cover yourself with the earth. Moslashi ara qriao. Qria is scattering something, but in Georgian it's again the phrase. It means that, as I translate it here, regrets it's how life ends. It's just something. Don't come to life. Don't try to leave because it ends in vain. There is nothing in it. Ara qriao means it's nothing in it. Don't look at the sun because you'll regret it. Because there is not always the sun to shine. Mze is sun. Mitzav, it's address like earth. It's like earth, keep her deep in your heart and hers and let her beauty be forever buried in your heart. It's a poetic translation, and line-to-line translation is Mitzav, the earth. I leave the violet at your protection. Shengibarebotes means I leave it at your protection. As Chemi, this my tenderly beautiful violet. Shanupatrone be her. So it means be her carer. Umshoble be her parent. Rogora change now as you do, as you always do. That's the as you always do. So Pshavela is parent. Umshoble be parent. Patroni is a boss, a master, a carer, somebody in charge, and upatrone be in charge. So I hope you liked the verse. I hope you liked the insight in Georgian literature a little bit. It's not so difficult of a verse, and it sounds beautifully and conveys really deep. And I hope I managed to convey this deep poetry which Vāža has. And I hope you enjoyed the lesson altogether. Bye bye. Till to the next one.